Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining SEO 101 on how to get better rankings so new clients can easily find you online. All right, so first we're going to talk about what search engine optimization is. I'll teach you what it is, why it's important, and why you need it. Next is how SEO works. I'll give you a brief description or an overview of how SEO works, and then I'll give you 3 things that you can do to improve your rankings today. All right, so first, what is search engine optimization? Ultimately, it's the methodology of strategies, techniques, and tactics that are used to increase a website's ranking and visibility on search results organically. This does exclude all forms of advertising. So why is it important? Well, there are over 1 trillion searches a year on Google. Over 75% of clicks come from organic listings, and over 85% of Google searches will actually not go past the first page of results. Additionally, there are about 22,000 monthly searches for bookkeepers alone, and 301,000 monthly searches for CPAs. That's 3.6 million a year. That's a lot of searches for accountants. And it's also estimated that there will be 1 billion websites by mid-2017. So why do you need SEO? Well, first off, users trust search engines. A site that ranks well is, perceived to be most trustworthy, and that actually increases trust. And then your competition is already doing it. The tactics for SEO change almost annually, but essentially SEO has been around since search engines have been around. So you can bet that your competition is already doing something. Also, it delivers new clients at a great ROI, especially when compared to traditional advertising. Search engine optimization does not require you to put up or invest as much into that channel. It also helps clients find where you are when they're looking for your services, and that's easily because everyone is searching online, before they try to move on or move forward with any services that they need. So you'll want to be there while they're doing their research. All right, so let's talk about how SEO works. So in order to understand how SEO works, we first have to, understand a search engine's function. So the first is to find and categorize all websites and web pages out on the internet. And it's also to help people find what they're looking for and return results instantly. And finally, it will rank results to queries from best to worst. And ranking is really where this idea of SEO as a marketing channel was born because, marketers quickly discovered that the higher a website is shown on a search engine results page, the most trustworthy it was and the more clicks it got. So there we go, SEO. All right, so SEO consists of 2 major components. The first is on-site optimization, which is referring to changes on your content or your website and its pages to improve ranking. So basically any changes that you make on your website with the intent for it to rank better, that's on-site optimization. Off-site optimization actually refers to your presence in and around your website. So that would actually refer to anything connected to your website in some shape or form, like a business listing, social media profile, or any hyperlinks from other websites that we refer to as backlinks, and also any mention of your name, address, and phone number. All right, so we're going to talk about how SEO works in terms of on-site optimization. So there are essentially 2 places where search engine crawler will look to understand what your website is about. The first is very obvious. It's going to be the written copy of your website. So as you look at a page, whatever's on that page, as long as it's not a picture, Google can understand it. And then the next is going to be the metadata. So metadata refers to copy, it's English, but it's actually copy that is coded into the structure of your page. And I'll show you why that's important in just a second. So what does optimizing content actually mean? Well, that means that the copy on your web pages, whether it's within the metadata or the actual text on the pages, is written to include keywords that are relevant to the searches you offer or to the services you offer and want to be found for in search engine results pages. So for example, if you want to be found for tax preparation, you're going to want to have a page that discusses tax preparation and uses that keyword throughout the copy. All right, so here's an example. The keyword in this case would be Eagle Rock, California accounting. So you can see here, the keyword is already included here in this what we call an H1 header. And that's just makes the copy more prominent. And Google actually look at these headers and look for keywords within the headers on the page. Then throughout the page, we have other secondary keywords like full service accounting firm in California. So these right here, the more prominent keyword here is most important, but here we have some other related keywords that Google looks for to understand the overall topic of the page. Okay. So when it comes to metadata, this is what I was referring to here. So metadata is, like I said, copy that's coded into the structure of your page. In this case, it's going to be the page title that's most important and the meta description. The page title serves as kind of a beacon for crawlers to understand the overall topic of your page. So in this case, it's going to be accounting services in Eagle Rock, California. And then the meta description actually plays a role in search engine results pages, which you can see here. The blue text is going to be the page title, and the gray text is going to be the meta description that's written into the page. These two types of metadata are especially important because it actually encourages people to click through to your website. And we found that the more people click through on a specific page from search engine results pages, Google takes that into consideration and may actually end up ranking the page higher because it sort of demonstrated that people are taking an interest in the page and therefore is going to show results a lot higher. Um, so that's why that's important. All right, so when you're choosing content for SEO, first and foremost, your content has to align with your marketing objectives. So really you'll have to ask yourself, overall, my marketing strategy, what is it that I want to push, or which services do I want to make the most revenue from and therefore want to be found for? Once you've figured out what those services are, then you'll want to think about how a searcher would find you for those services and which keywords they would use in order to find those services, right? So that then leads you into keywords. Once once you have an idea, a general idea of keywords that you want to be found for, you'll want to check for three different things. Volume, intent, really this is more of a gut feel. Does it really make sense um, as pertaining to your page, and would it show for your would it search engines show your page? And then also quality. So quality is really going to be something that comes in afterwards. So if you're ranking for particular keywords and you get a lot of leads from it, then that's probably higher quality traffic from that keyword. Um, and the next thing is going to be that, once you've actually identified the keywords that you want to use, you'll want to integrate them into your copy, but most of all sound natural and avoid keyword stuffing. So, as you're optimizing your content and reading it over, read it out loud, see if it has a flow, if it makes sense, if the keyword's not too awkward. Right now, search engines are sophisticated enough that it will understand a variation on the keyword. So, tax preparation and preparation for income taxes are all related. So, it will understand that there's a relationship there, and you don't have to always say tax preparation because that can sound awkward and repetitive after a while. One hint that I wanted you guys to know is that long tail keywords, which are search phrases that contain at least 3 words, help you target higher quality leads. The trade-off there, though, is that there's going to be less volume. Okay. The next part of SEO is going to be your offsite optimization. And that really pertains to 3 major components. That's going to be backlinks, local business listings, which are a type of backlink, and social media pages. This one is going to be more as a complementary channel rather than directly influencing SEO, but there is some value there. So with backlinks in particular, backlinks are actually just hyperlinks from other websites throughout the internet that link back to your own site. The easiest one to come up with is probably if you have a directory through AICPA or your local CPA association, and within that directory it links back to your website, that's a hyperlink that links back. So that would be a backlink. So in terms of backlinks, they should be any backlinks that you gather or collect should be relevant to your industry in some way, or should be relevant to you in the location that you serve. Something that would be pertain to your industry, like I said, if you have any directories in your association, that'd be a good one. And then locally, something that's locally relevant would be as easy as a local business listing, or if you're lecturing at, a college, if you're a guest speaker, if you somehow end up on their calendar, that would be a relevant backlink to your location. Just things like that. The easiest way to generate backlinks is to really leverage your personal relationships and professional network. So if you identify an opportunity like or a speaking engagement, or if you have anything like that, asking people to somehow link back to your website in any shape or form is beneficial. In terms of local business listings, this is important because it is a backlink, but it's also, if you think of it as your ID throughout the internet for your brick and mortar business, brick and mortar, quote unquote. So in this case, it's important to have consistent information, and this information is directly pertaining to your name, address, and phone number. So all of that information has to be consistent on all local business directories, and local business directories like Google, Yelp, Yellow Pages, all of those directories are what would be looked at. And then also, you'll want to claim any profiles or claim ownership of that business on those profile directories and remove any duplicated listings. So Google has gotten a little bit better about removing duplicates within their own directory, but about 2 years ago, you would see multiple listings for the same business, if you really searched on Google Maps. And oftentimes that would just confuse both the user and search engines, so people wouldn't rank very well because they had duplicate information within the one directory. So you'll want to ensure that it's a one-to-one relationship, right? Per one directory, you only have one listing. And then finally, with social media, likes and shares and engagement, social media engagement don't have anything to do with Google's algorithm. But what it does do is it performs a sort of secondary relationship where it allows your content to be distributed and sort of put in front of people so that then those people could potentially link back to you. So, it does require a lot of engagement on social media, but it is possible to get some backlinks through there. All right, so when you're thinking about SEO, there's a few considerations you'll have to keep in mind. So the first is your own website presence before you even get started. The condition of your website and its online presence is very important because some people will be starting, from the back of page 3, and some people will be starting at the bottom of page 1. And as you progress, higher and higher in rankings, it becomes increasingly difficult to move up. I think the most coveted spots are going to be the maps listing and search results, and organic listings in the first top 3. Those are very difficult to go after, but it is possible, and that's what SEO does. So one thing to consider as you're starting is to have benchmark metrics before you start a campaign. And these are going to be these metrics over here. Know where you're starting from, and then you'll know where you're going. The other thing to take into consideration is the market that you're in and the competition. Generally speaking, the more saturated the market is, so in your local geographical area, say I'm in Salt Lake City, there's going to be more accountants in a square mile in Salt Lake City than there are going to be in, I don't know, Paris, California. It's just a bigger market. So the bigger the market, the more difficult it is to move up in rankings. The next things you'll have to take into consideration is measurement from beginning to end. So reporting and SEO from very beginning and moving forward is essential. You'll want to track different things, but essentially organic ranking and organic traffic increases over time are really how you'll be able to see whether it's working or not. And like I said, you'll want to keep track of these metrics throughout a campaign, which include bounce rate, organic sessions, page views, and keywords. All right, so just to have a quick recap, on-site optimization is creating content that is valuable to searchers with the use of keywords and implementing those keywords throughout the copy and in metadata so that it complements the site. Off-site optimization consists of building links that connect back to your website, having some exposure to your content through social media, and definitely getting rid of duplicate listings and have a consistent NAP data throughout your directory listings. And then to know that if your SEO is helping you, the specifics will really depend on where you're starting from, but ultimately you should see an increase in rankings and more organic traffic. All right, so I did want to give you guys a real life example of a client that we had. This client in particular wanted to increase visibility and improve his rankings because he was so far back that the most important thing first is to improve your rankings, and then it's organic traffic because you're simply just not going to get as much organic traffic if you're buried somewhere in page 2. He was based out of New Jersey, which is a very large market, so we knew it would be a challenge. However, after implementing a lot of these different tactics, we were able to move him up for these positions. So these numbers that you see here are actually positions, not pages. So any number here between 1 and 10 is the first page. And we were able to move him up for these keywords. All right, so let's talk about 3 things that you can do to improve your rankings. The first is going to be to have a mobile-friendly website design. The reason that's important is because this has actually become a ranking factor since 2015. So, Google will take into consideration whether your website looks good on a mobile device. And you can actually check to see if your website is responsive, is what we call it, by either putting your website onto your mobile phone, just any browser on a mobile phone, and taking a look. You can also find out whether it's responsive on a desktop by using Chrome. So Google Chrome will actually allow you to see a website from a developer standpoint, and you don't need to know how to code or anything in order to use this. All you have to do is pull up your website on Chrome, and then you hit F12, and then it'll pull up all the stuff here. You don't need to worry about that. But here you can actually select the device that you want to see your website as. You may need to refresh so that it picks it up. And then it'll give you an idea of how your website is responding on different devices. It's not perfect. Sometimes it'll have little glitches like this, but it will give you an idea. Okay, so the next thing that you can do is if you don't already have a mobile-friendly website, if you're a CP Site Solutions client, all you have to do is email Webmaster and have them help you update your website design so that it is responsive. Most of our templates at this point are responsive, so if you just ask for a little help, they can get you there. The next thing you can do is claim and update your Google Maps specifically. The reason I recommend Google Maps is because it is the mother of all local business directories, and that's where Google finds their map listing results from. So if we were to go, let's see, maybe I'll do incognito. Okay, so we're going to do accountants in San Francisco. Okay, so you guys can see here there's a giant map, right? And then it'll list 3 firms or 3 accountants in San Francisco. Having a cleaned up listing on Google Maps improves your chances of showing up here prominently in search results. In order to do that, I recommend that you go to gybo.com and it will actually help you or walk you through the process of claiming your Google Maps listing and show you how to improve your listing. And then, unfortunately, GYBO does not really touch on duplicate content or duplicate listings. So I'd recommend that you actually click on this blog post here. This will actually lay out the different scenarios that may have caused you to have duplicate listings and then show you how to fix them. And then finally, I'd recommend that you actually start writing and update your content on your website. The easiest way of doing this is by just adding a blog. And we recommend that you actually blog at least once a month. And this is for two different things. Number one, creating new content like blog posts are actually viewed favorably by search engines because they demonstrate your authority on accounting. So they're incentivized, or crawlers are incentivized to go back frequently to your website and recrawl your site and really just kind of keep you in their eye. The other thing too is that it gives you content for social media so that you can use social media marketing in tandem with SEO. All right, so I did want to give you guys some additional resources that you could use in order to learn more about SEO. These are some of the blog posts that we have, just a handful. And then we also have some on-demand webinars that I'd recommend if you're interested, particularly pay-per-click, because that kind of goes hand in hand with SEO. And while advertising does not influence how you rank, it is a powerful tool to help you um, inform your SEO strategy and then help you gain visibility while your SEO strategy produces results. The other thing too is these white papers. I definitely recommend you download these. These are free. And it just kind of breaks things down a little bit more so that, if you want to find out more about backlinks or, on-site optimization, you can definitely learn that here. Or if you just need to get caught up on all of the jargon of SEO, we also have a dictionary to help you understand a little bit better. And these links, by the way, when you get the presentation deck, they're clickable. So you can just click on these blue texts here, and then it'll take you straight to the asset you're looking for. Okay, if you guys need any help with SEO, we're happy to help. We answer questions that you may have. You can, visit us online on cpasitesolutions.com, or you can call and then we can have an internet marketing advisor just walk you through what it is that you need. And we don't only do SEO. We can definitely help you with website design, pay-per-click, social media management. If nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this presentation, at least know what your website design looks like and update it if you haven't updated it in the last year or so. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a couple of questions. All right, so we have one that says, are you better off to have landing pages for some of the keywords? In terms of choosing which keywords you want to optimize for, you'll definitely want to have an individual landing page for that topic. So it's not like you need to have like a landing page for one specific keyword. You can kind of mix and match, as long as the intent is the same, as long as they essentially mean the same thing. But yeah, it is better to have your content optimized for the keywords that you want to target. And then you can actually expand on it. It just depends on how your website flows and how you feel comfortable. Because some keywords will actually be related to each other, but you'll want to separate them. And then, with our SEO services, we can actually help you define what those keywords are and then build that content for you. Let's see, could you give us an example of the backlinks that target a customer type? Okay, so backlinks that target a customer type. If you do any guest posts, like say for an association, and they let you choose the topic. So if like the association does any sort of like public facing or like forums or advice, you could choose a topic that's important to you. So if you want to promote, let's say, I don't know, wealth management, then you can do a guest post on wealth management with the association that's allowing you to do that. Really with backlinks, you kind of just have to take them as you can get them. You know, targeting for specific keywords through guest posting is ideal. I mean, for specific keywords is ideal, but sometimes you may just, have the opportunity to speak to just accounting in general, and that's okay too. But you're right, yeah, linking is key. Backlinks actually are about a third, factor into about a third of the algorithm, so it's a big deal. Um, let's see, how do you get the backlink after writing the article? Okay, so after you write the article, if it depends on the relationship that you have with the person, if you yourself are writing it, then I would just include it in your draft. And then, once the person posts that draft for you, then it should just be there. Sometimes you may need to just reach out and remind the publisher to highlight either your domain or something, some text in the article, and have them hyperlink to your website. So it really just depends on what kind of relationship you're following through with. Um, okay, so sounds like it could be tough. Yeah, it definitely requires you to leverage your relationships, because reaching out to random people online definitely is harder, if you're cold emailing versus having a relationship with someone. Okay, so we have a couple of questions here. Let's see. Uh, when should I add SEO to my online marketing strategy? Um, so SEO takes about 3 to 6 months to show any results. So if you're considering it for tax season, I'd say as soon as possible, because it is going to take some time in order to see any results from it. And if it may be too short of a timeline, depending on how much competition you might have, you might want to consider PPC in the interim, and then work on SEO for the next season that comes around. Typically for SEO, we advise that you get started sometime in the summer, so it'd be cutting a little close by now. It's PPC, pay-per-click advertising. So this is speaking to advertising through search engines. Here, I'll show you. Okay, here. Typically we see these ads at the very top of the page, but see how these say ad here? This is actually done through AdWords. So that's what I'm referring to. These are ads that will typically show up here at the top. Okay, I think we have a couple more questions coming through. Okay, where do I do keyword research? Okay, so I'll actually show you guys that one. If you go to, I just like to Google Keyword Planner, and then you can see I've gone through this link a lot. You go to Keyword Research and Strategy Planner, AdWords, has you do a few steps, sign in, because we have to sign in for everything for Google. Okay, so here you can get, I typically like to use this here, where it says you get search volume and data and trends. And then you can just type in whatever keywords you want. So text preparation. And then you can also upload a CSV file if you want to get a list of a lot of keywords at once. And then get search volume. And then tax preparation, it'll give me average monthly searches, it'll give me a range. Competition is medium. And you can typically tell about how competitive this keyword is by the bid. The higher the bid, the more likely that people are actually bidding on it and more people are going after that keyword. So that kind of gives you a sense of how many people are actually pursuing that keyword. And yes, I can include that link. Let's see. I'm actually going to send it to you guys. There you go. Um, no, you're not buying that keyword. This is just to help you do research on how competitive this keyword is. So there's a question that said, are you saying that we are buying this keyword? No, this just gives you a sense of how competitive the keyword is because it'll give you average monthly searches, some competition. It's either going to be low, medium, or high. It's a little vague, but that's what Google provides. I'm merely saying that the suggested bid gives you a sense of exactly how competitive that keyword is. And we can see bids for as high as, tens of dollars or, even just, $2. It really just depends. And the longer tail the keyword, usually it's less competitive, but it can be higher. Let's see. So we have another question that says, so the more competition, the better the word? Probably. Yeah. So you will want to sort of um, balance how much you want to go for the competition because it could also mean that it'll be harder to rank for that word. So, I mean, if you're using this in tandem with PPC, you could either build the more competitive keywords into your SEO so that you don't have to pay for that through SEO, but then you can target less expensive keywords through PPC, and that allows you to target different keywords and really just boost your online visibility. Um, okay. Okay, and then we have another question that says, when people pay Google, what are they buying? They are buying keywords essentially, or visibility for that keyword, and they do that by offering a bid. So with PPC advertising, it operates as an auction, and then you put up how much you're willing to pay in order to appear for a specific keyword. Um, what that does not mean, paying Google, it does not mean that you are paying for rankings in organic search results. You can't pay for that. And it also does not mean that you're paying Google for anything like, sketchy in terms of organic listings. You can't influence organic listings with money, only advertising. And then we have a question that says, is there a particular company that you recommend to hire or manage and build your website and social media marketing? Obviously, I'm going to recommend CPA Site Solutions. Like I said, we do help with all of that, and we make it really easy to update your website and social media and search engine optimization and pay-per-click. So feel free to reach out if you just want someone to um, help you with that. Okay, it looks like we have a comment that says we are great. Thank you, Patrice. Oh, okay, we still have a few questions. If we have a website already, okay, so you have a website. Could we have you evaluate and possibly help upgrade the keywords? You have a website already with us on CPA Site Solutions? Oh, okay, not with us. I mean, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to one of our internet marketing advisors, and they could probably tell you how you could improve your website, and they may offer more than just keywords. So feel free to reach out here at the 800 number, and they can help you take a look at your website. Um, Okay, so at this point, since we're just doing Q&A with regards to SEO, please feel free to keep submitting your questions and I'll answer them online. I'll just give it a few more minutes. Okay. Okay, so we have a question that says, do hashtags help? Um, Hashtags help in terms of social media. They help categorize your content, but they don't necessarily have anything to do with search engine rankings. So if anything else, it just kind of helps you put your content out on social media, like blogs and blog posts. Okay, so it looks like the questions are slowing down at this point. I'm going to go ahead and hang on just in case there's another question here or there. But at this point, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. Please look forward to the presentation deck and the recording, and we'll see you guys next time.